Welcome to my channel. This is Kelly. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to paint these loose watercolor roses with bold strokes, a doe sketch. And if you want the full extended version with extra tips and a second metallic version, then join us over on Patreon for this exclusive tutorial. All right, we're going to paint this little rose bouquet that I did. Now, these are my roses from out in my garden, and I just love the picture. I love the light in this one. You can see up here, we've got really bright colors, some bright pinks here. Again, the light's hitting up on top. We've got some darkness here, again, light, some reflections. So let's give this one a go. So for materials, I may or may not use these. These are my little mini tin box from CSY Art. They're homemade watercolors and they have all the metallics in them. We may add a little bit of that, but I'm just going to go with my regular Winsor Newton palette. See, I didn't even clean it this morning. And I do have my Strathmore watercolor cards. And for brush, I am using my small goat synthetic brush that is from Lemons On brushes. Beautiful brushes. They hold a lot of paint. Okay, so we're going to do this again really loose. And I'm going to, look at that. I think I have a poppy seed or a seed in there. Oh, it's a seed from my bagel, sesame seed. That's what I'm trying to say. I do need to clean this out though. All right, not much space, but let's go with that. So I'm going to go in with my Winsor Rose. I think that's the color I'm going to use. And I'm just going to kind of mark out where some of those very light, I'm going to add more water to that, very light colors are up here. I do want to leave the white, so I want to go kind of working in between, just making that little rose shape. Again, we're not going with perfection here. We have a little bit of a petal here. We're going to go loose. And the rest of that pretty much is white. We've got, a little bit of a petal showing in the front here. So it doesn't really look like a rose, but it's sort of a rose. And again, we have actually a little bit brighter pink for this one. Let's go in with a little bit more pigment. And we've got one kind of tucked in here. Again, we're just kind of just doing the shape, not exact. And then we do have a nice big one here in the front. And their petals kind of pop out. This one is facing us. So again, I want to leave some space, some white space. Just creating these little rounded shapes here where those outside petals are. And again, it's not perfect. These are going to be loose. We've got another one that's up here that's more closed in. So it's coming up this way. And we do have some petals back here. I've got, actually, I don't even see any of the yellow in the center there. And then we've got some that are fanning out forward here, kind of curled up at you. And then one more on the side. I'm actually making this bigger. I'm going to bring this one, I might bring it down. Now, because this is my roses from my garden, they're smaller, they're a little erratic because they have a lot of thorns. So I just try to get little bunches of them because they hurt. I got stuck the other day. I was out there. I'll leave a little space on this one just to give the illusion that there's a little bit of a petal here. But I got stuck on the thorn the other day while I was out there in the garden, and oh my gosh, it hurt like crazy. I couldn't move. I think I thought, yeah, that's brown, not green. I've got some sap green and some umber here. Some raw umber. So I want a really dark shade. And I think I'm going to work in amongst some of these little petals now. I'm kind of looking at the picture, but this is not about the picture. This is just me having fun. So don't get too caught up on the photo. It's just an inspiration. I'm gonna add a little bit of some yellow to that. My yellow is a little dirty. That's all right. So we just want a light shade. And we have a little bud in here. I'm gonna make a bud. I might make another couple more buds just to even this out. Remember what I had said earlier wasn't like the most perfect setup as far as my roses because they're thorny. We have a few more here. Again, I'm gonna go loose, just creating some nice, easy, simple little shapes. Maybe a little bit of brown in there, just to darken things up a bit. And I like that green. I think green didn't have as much yellow. It's more of the sap and the brown. A little bit deeper down at the bottom, because this is where all of our shadow is going to be. Maybe just tuck some green in here. We've got a lot of green in the shapes of some leaves down in here. I do want to leave a little bit of white space. And to simplify it out a little bit more, I need to just change up a little bit more this composition, just filling it in. Maybe more buds. Maybe this is a flower back here. So again, you don't have to follow what was in the photograph. These have a little bit more light on them at the top. So I'm going to go in with some more water and just give a touch of some more lighter shades around here. Maybe we've got one in the background. You don't completely see it. It's just tucked in here. This is where the light hit up on top. So maybe you can just have just a tad bit of that flower showing. And they're just little marks. They're not anything perfect. You're just leaving some white space in amongst there. I might go back in now because we do want some darker values and just pop in a little bit more of this deeper, less watered down version of the pigment. That is still nice and wet. I actually like that look when it just blends in there. And just filling it in a few places so that you get that illusion of some petals back in here. And again, I'm not being super picky about it, going very light and loose. And then we have our little vase, which is going to be a little bit smaller than the initial vase because I ran out of room. So I'm going to start with, we do want more greenery up here, so I might fill in some more green. So there is the tip of that vase. We're going to make it a little squattier. I'm going to add a little, I've got some turquoise here. Let's just go with that. It's pretty. It'll give me some more green. And then we have the shape, oops, of the vase coming out here. And then I'm just going to make it a rounded version. Got a little bit of, it's actually turquoise down in here anyway, so turquoise and a little brown. And then I'm going to fill in my green inside here. This is where our little stems are kind of coming down through. Some wide ones, some not so wide. Maybe add a little brown to that. We want some darker values in here. Maybe even a little bit of that turquoise. All filled in here. I'm going to fill in some more here too. Ooh, that's pretty with the turquoise. Look at that. Just bouncing back and forth, popping in some colors. It's very, very squatty. That's all right. We're playing, we're practicing. It's got a little bit of a light in there, and then we have a lot of brown around the edges. We skip that part here because this is that rounded part of the vase. We've got more brown in here. Add some turquoise to that again. Look at that, isn't that pretty? I love those colors together. And then we have the white of the table, so I'm just going to leave that and continue on with some brown for the stems down at the bottom. Turquoise green, sap, just mixing around. A little dry brush. How pretty is that? Get some more green in here. I can have a couple of those leaves coming up in front of that little bud. A little bit more green in here. And I'm going to angle this around just a tad bit more because that's going to be reflecting the vase down at the bottom. Maybe a little bit more of that turquoise just because I love that color. We kind of lost the edge of that. That's all right. And then we can go in with just a little bit of water and just soften things up a little bit. Look, simple, easy. We kind of did that lilac last week. And again, it's just a beautiful little bouquet. You don't have to worry about everything being so perfect, seeing all of those edges on there. And you, again, it's a very simplified version of what that photo was. I'm going with some lighter colors in here. Maybe that's a little too light, a little teal. You can kind of play around with that. Yeah, I prefer the darker values, I think a little bit more. Yeah, it just really pops out that pink in there. But we would have a little bit of that lighter value on some of those. Maybe even, this could even be a bud. Put a little pink in there. Just popping out. Tap a few more in here. See what that does? Really brings out the colors in there. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. For my patrons, you're going to get the extended version. We're going to doctor this up a little bit more. So thanks for watching. If you want to go a little deeper, check out my playlist on my other flowers. And make sure to hit that like and subscribe. It really means a lot. It really helps me grow my channel and keeps me producing more videos for you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.